Let's meditate. I have been busy such that didn't have much time to sit for 20 minutes for this, but looks like everything is going okay. I went to the Northshore to find a place to stay. I went to the hospital to check the result of the annual checkup and talk to the doctor. A few things I have to do to print out material for issues to address the computer. Big Buy made a mistake here and there, and my computer is not functioning well. It's barely doing the job. So I need to report the issues for them to look into when I go back to Santa Monica in 3 months or so. How things gonna work out? There are lots of unknowns. I even had a long discussion with Gemini to figure out what is the way to address the problem, and also for Apple to fix certain problems. Things can still go wrong, but I have a backup with another computer. Only some issue that happened this morning was Gemini was not doing a good job. I had to explain the idea of CAPD, check, act, plan, do, at the end to reflect on what had taken place, because they made judgment jumping ahead to conclusion several times that I have to go back to clarify things for them to realize, until finally they came to the same conclusion I had. It took time and effort, but there's a slight chance that they are understanding the issues, they made the mistakes, and I may post on that subject with the other video. How to use AI but not to be used. It's the same as us to how to use our brain but not to be used. AI's case is like an extension of our brain, and they still do hallucinate, or like I mentioned, jump into conclusion. So I have to dig up all the evidence I shared, which they didn't quite accommodate to come up with the final judgment of what to do. It may take time for AI to know, as much as from our end, we need to ask the right question over and over to clarify issues so that we find the right judgment, right course of action. This is how to use the brain, part of the question to live in this society. And I may talk about the Zen, spirituality, samadhi. There's a connection to it. Also to point out When we may be enlightened or awakened, it may feel like we arrived at nirvana with a blissful sensation. But it may be better to understood that such is a temporary situation so far as we live in the society using our brain and using AI. I'll have to spend more time to explain for myself and for others how we may do that. To use AI not to be used. Use our brain not to be used. Listen to the heart and body properly and make the most of our life. I also mentioned recently in one of the videos about finding the destiny in our life. It is related to be in the now, but also tied to how to come up with the wisdom and compassion, and also use the brain. Listen to your heart. This has to be practiced over and over. Yet, when we pass away, we are sort of prepared or have understanding that what we do is to make the best of the situation, and facing death is the same. No worries, no jumping to conclusion. You may do the last round of check, act, plan, do of life, and the do part is the letting the way of nature to take place when we pass away. There's a way if there's a will. There may be certain determination we may need to have or rely on our intuition, which I hope correspond to what we really like to do. And here, what we really like is to correspond to the way of nature. That's the alignment. So when that alignment happens, it's like riding the way of the universe, alignment of the way of nature, the way of universe, and our process connected to that. The bottom line is we don't have to think. We let the way of nature to speak. And we may just appreciate what may be beyond the confinement of our brain or the mind, or possibly the confinement of AI as well. Is there confinement in AI? I don't know. But having seen the problems, like dealing with ChatGPT or Gemini, and somewhat with the DeepSeek, I see AI has still a long way to go so that they can have more long-term memory, synthesize things, not jump into conclusion, and practice CAPD, check, act, plan, do, over and over. Even to do the CAPD, check, act, plan, do, for the whole processes of whatever happened at times, just like I explained in my life profile video. To reflect on the passage we have taken, not meant to dwell in the past, but connected to our learning, and to know ourselves and move on. And when we do this well, our approach may be aligned with the way of the universe, or my approach, and my approach may be related to the situation of the human society's way, so that whatever the blockages or bottleneck may exist, as in the case of our getting into confused state, we may provide insight so that not just the individual, but as a whole society or mini society, to find the path that makes sense and align to the idea such as may all beings be happy. There are situations that need to be dealt with in our daily life, but still with a calm and quiet mind and samadhi as the base. We may address issues as needed and move on with CAPD over and over and Shila Samadhi Panya. No mind, no self. At the base of how we live our life. Also detecting the liveliness within to confirm the source of our life fully. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Keep the spine more straight. No stiffness in shoulder. You can move your spine a little bit or twist. and settle. And feel the sensation within in your finger, palm, elbow, shoulder, neck. Is it stiff or is it flexible? Have a good day. May all beings be happy.